und die Weichen laden. Ja, ja, das ist.
Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a 22-year-old competitive boulderer from Canada, currently living near Frankfurt, Germany. Welcome back to the COMPCLIMB training series, where I record all of my training, provide in-depth analysis of every session, and just chat about climbing with an emphasis on competition. Today we're at Boulderwelt for just one session of bouldering, and the reason that we're not doing 2 sessions of bouldering like we usually do on day 1 is because I had a double rest day coming up, and I'm actually going to add a day of climbing under this 2-day block, so that we're going to end up doing 3 days in a row because I didn't want the double rest day. And actually, let me talk about what's happening on screen here. I'm like, this is like the end of my warm-up here. I'm like kind of repeating this 8, and then all of a sudden I see this guy in my peripheral. I guess there were a couple workers fixing, I don't know, some air conditioning unit or something, but I'm climbing and I see this guy in the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And yeah, I guess he was just trying to toss something up to his buddy. But anyway, the reason that I am adding a day onto this 2-day block is because we have something exciting in the works. I won't say exactly, we might be like guests on a very popular climbing channel. Someone is traveling through Europe and contacted us to see if we were interested in making a video with them. I won't say who it is yet, just because it hasn't necessarily been fully confirmed. We're kind of like, we've been talking, and the last I heard from them was that they said they were going to find a gym to film a video in. And so that this is probably going to happen in a couple days, and I haven't got like the totally like, yep, we're good to go yet, so we'll just hold off on saying what channel it is. But anyway, it's probably going to happen, and it will be pretty exciting. That's all I'll say. So yeah, today is just a single session of bouldering, so that because when I usually do 3 day, if I do a 3-day chunk of training, it's very hard to do 2 days of double sessions in a row and then do a 3rd day of climbing. That's just too much for me. Usually I'm like way too tired. So we're just gonna turn this into a single session, so I have a bit more energy for this 3rd day on. Even if the guest feature channel session doesn't work out, I'll still climb on this 3rd day, because I don't necessarily want 2 days of rest leading into kind of the couple days of preparation we have before the event in Montreal. It just works out better with only 1 day of rest. So yeah, just a single session of bouldering today, an hour and a half plus. And the agenda for today, so before this day of training, I was like kind of going back and forth, and I didn't necessarily, I didn't know where I wanted to climb. I kind of had a high quality problem, you could say, of having one boulder at Studio Block Darmstadt, basically, and it's a boulder that I don't, I've tried so much and I just am kind of quitting on, which is that yellow, kind of coordination dyno on the donuts. I guess there's a new set there as well, so there's probably going to be another 7-up that I haven't tried. I don't know what it looks like yet. So yeah, 1.5 boulders kind of at Studio Block Darmstadt. Mannheim, the last time we were there, we managed to finish everything off. I'm sure there's a couple new sets, but probably not too many. And then Boulderwelt, we have basically the whole comp wall finished. Those couple ones that I did at the beginning, they were both repeats, and that was kind of like the end of my warm-up. Just to get going, I decided to film some 8s that I hadn't got on camera yet. And so I was thinking maybe me and Maddie could take the train, go somewhere a little bit further away to a new gym. But we just kind of went to Munich, and I wasn't super in the mood for a long train ride and sort of a full day of travel. So I realized, hey, you know what? Let's just go around Boulderwelt's main walls and just find all the best climbs that we can get on the regular sets. And like I've said in the past couple of videos, they have some hidden gems up around the gym, and some actually really comp style boulders just mixed in with the normal sets. And you can see this boulder here we're trying. Maddie got on this a couple episodes ago, and she filmed her own episode. Cool little run across 7. I find with even with the lower grades, the 7s and the 8s, if it's a coordination style climb or a slab climb, it can be just as hard as the 9 sometimes, and the grades kind of blend together, which is nice. So yeah, I managed to get this one on my second try. For the run, I kind of made sure to emphasize sort of a movement we've been talking about recently, which was I have to pull myself away from the wall and then create some direction towards the wall, and then it allowed me to, you saw that I could absorb my momentum super well. By the time I hit that crimp, I could almost stay there for a second and then go again, and I almost broke it down into 2 different moves, which is what you want to do sometimes with these sort of dynos. And this boulder here we're trying is a very cool boulder. This is a pretty new boulder set by Yannick, one of the setters here. Awesome guy. He's been setting some creative boulders recently, and I'm always excited to get on his new stuff. So he came up with this move here where you do this little jump over this volume, and then you step on this volume and press with your hand. And when I watched some other people try this move, I was like kind of thinking that it almost looked like a sort of drop knee position that you want to end up in. And so I fell a few times trying to land in that position, and then I realized kind of the trick to stick this move was to lock your right leg out all the way and like really help get you some purchase on your left hand. But that was a super fun move. It's a very cool move, and I think he did a great job of forcing it too. I can't think of a better way to do this boulder. And then it's also got like a pretty tricky ending here, some pretty technical climbing. But yeah, really good bowler. And that's the other nice thing about this gym, and a lot of the gyms in Europe as well, actually. And something that is really contrasting to my and Maddie's home of Canada is a lot of the gyms in Canada, at least in Ontario. Like in Ontario, like in the area that me and Maddie live in, there are a lot of steep gyms and a lot of like sort of older gyms that were built back when like steep climbing was very popular, and like slab and vert like wasn't as prevalent in competitions. And so like the normal sets would usually include a lot of just sort of overhanging boulders, and they're hard by, you know, having like holds that you got to squeeze really hard, or like powerful climbing. But then it seems like it's different here. Like the norm here in Europe is this technical style of climbing. Like just a lot of the main sets and the normal sets will just be on vert, like in these weird dihedrals where they have to set like funky moves and technical boulders in order to make them hard, which is like I've kind of mentioned this before as well. It's like super good for me to get on because that's like the style that I need to work on most. I find that I've just got like a lot of power naturally, and I always need more practice on the technical stuff. So having this massive gym like Boulderwelt and then Studio Block and the other Studio Block all having like so much vert and technical boulders, it's been really helpful for me, and it's helping my body kind of learn how to climb the style of climbing without me even realizing it. Sort of that self-2 part of my body that I've been talking about recently, and it's getting like better. It's like learning how to climb technical boulders better, which is very nice. And now we're moving on to this boulder. We've been climbing for about an hour at this point, and usually when I'll do a single session is I always say that it's an hour and a half plus, so I try to hit my hour and a half minimum, and then depending on how tired I am or like how efficient my session was, like how much I crammed into the hour and a half, I'll go over time. This session actually ended up just being an hour and a half, like pretty much exactly, and so that means that I spend 30 minutes on this boulder here. This slab was very hard. I had seen a video, this is another Yannick boulder, and I'd seen a video of him doing it on social media before I came to the gym. He made it look pretty easy. And then, so like that's kind of, I was expecting to hopefully get it done in a few tries, and then I had a couple other boulders lined up to go finish in the session. And then I was stopped by this boulder, and then this consumed the rest of the training day. And this boulder has got to be my favorite boulder up in the gym right now. It is so, I feel like I've been going through a phase recently as well where I'm just kind of like in a slab phase, and I'm really vibing with the slabs, and I really just like slab climbing. I like the process of working them, and I just like, I've been more psyched recently when I conquer a really hard slab than just like a super powerful boulder. I don't know. But what's funny though is that I probably wouldn't say the same thing, and when it comes to competition, like slab climbing in competition is always very stressful, and it's like much more fun when you can just, you're free to fall whenever you want in like a training session, even though we're still trying to send these slabs as fast as possible for practice. But yeah, like climbing slab without pressure is just so much fun. It's one of my favorite styles of climbing for sure, and I feel like I've been improving a lot recently. But yeah, this boulder is very hard. It's got a cool like little opening sequence where you stand on this foothold, and then you have to cross your foot through, and then in order to reach your left foot over this circle that I'm standing on here, you got to grab the volume to snake your foot over. And then this part here is like very hard. And okay, here's something else I want to say. So Maddie had a fun idea. I'm realizing that what I'm always kind of trying to do with these little breakdowns of my sessions is kind of provide like experience that I've gained and like with movement and just sort of techniques and things that you can have in your toolkit, and kind of like educate and provide ideas and techniques that you can add to your toolkit so that you can, like, when you come across a move in your own sessions, maybe you'll remember something that I said and you can try and utilize it on your own, and maybe it'll help you stick a similar move. And so I've been trying to like include at least one sort of helpful tip in all of my videos I've been making recently. And I've been consciously trying to do this. And I said this to Maddie the other day, and she said, oh, well, you know, maybe that should be like your little thing. You should have your tip of the day or something. So I'm gonna try like to have the tip of the day in all these videos and give like one new technique or idea or something that I do, like a technique that I use to stick a certain kind of move, and really just kind of acknowledge it in every video. I think that I'm probably gonna forget though for like a little bit. Like I'll probably forget. I'm sure it won't happen in every single video, just because when I do these voiceovers, sometimes my brain goes all over the place and I don't remember what to say exactly. So I'll try my best to have one tip of the day or technique of the day in all these videos upcoming. And so I say this because I just thought of today's tip of the day is going to be something that I really had to emphasize on this slab. And it's another, I've mentioned this before as well. It's something that I already have learned and known, and I've like acknowledged that it's like a technique that I use, and I kind of put it in my toolkit, but then I forgot about it and I had to like relearn it today. I had to remember it. And that is when you're like balancing, especially when you're doing your sort of foot matches or foot shimmies, something that is really useful and really helpful to do that and just help your mind like just have some better spatial awareness and balance better is have your arms out. You can see I've been doing this the whole time. Don't like let your arms like swing all around and all this crazy stuff. When you're like doing like very delicate slab climbing where it's all on the feet, you put your arms out like completely flat. And what that does is it just kind of helps your body like have better balance. And let's say you want to shift your weight to the left, you can kind of bring this arm in a bit and then extend your left arm, and that's going to help your center of mass like kind of lean over to the end. And also here you can see I've been falling a bunch, and this is an attempt from the ground. We're landing at the finish. Can't do it. It's a very hard finish actually. The foot that you're standing on is not super good, and then the volume the finish hold that you're going to is not like a super solid press that you can just like sink into. It's almost just sort of like a stopper, and it's all on your leg, and you gotta kind of have the perfect momentum for that finish. So it's very hard to do at the end, especially when you're tired and you're stressed. Like I mentioned this as well before, is like calf and shin fatigue is a thing that's very underlooked. And when you're like balancing for so long, by the end of this boulder, my legs and my calves are super tired, and it's really hard for me to relax. So I had to, I think this is the Sengo here, and like as I'm right before, I think when I get my foot on this next volume, I'm getting super tired and super tense, and I need to take a second to, and I like take a nice deep breath, and that actually helps me relax and like trust my feet a bit more. But yeah, anyway, tip of the day. So that's what we're gonna start doing. And today's tip of the day is on slab climbing, when it's delicate movement with your feet, put your arms out, and helps your spatial awareness and helps you body balance. And I guess like an example of this is like, maybe I remember being taught this in like elementary school gym class when, I don't know, all the kids are like trying to balance on one foot, and that's like an exercise for the day. Is a trick for balancing on one foot is you want to look at one spot. And this is something that's always stuck with me ever since like learning this in gym class. You pick an object and you stare at it, and it's going to help you just balance on one foot, and it helps your kind of brain like track its surroundings and balance better. And that's kind of a similar effect that the arms out creates. And yeah, you can use that too with your slab climbing when it's just like all on the feet, and it's just like, you know, you can't really move your head or anything. It's a very helpful tip. And I noticed it was almost night and day when I started doing that. I was able to balance better on those footholds. Tomorrow we have our spiral session and a workout, and then the day after we have this guest feature on a YouTube channel, which will be fun. I don't know where that will happen yet. And then actually we're flying to Canada for the Jackalope event in Montreal, which is really exciting. So we can let the gyms kind of set some new boulders for us to come conquer when we get back. But yeah, this was kind of our last boulder session in Germany before heading out to a competition.